Welcome to the beautiful Monterey Peninsula as Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca once again hosts the season finale for the American Le Mans Series. It's the Monterey Sports Car Championships. Dorsey, earlier we talked about some issues, but there are also some scenarios that are sure to unfold, and they are our Pirelli storyline.
Indeed, and the most important one to some teams is the 70% rule, and what that means is you have to get points in this race. You have to complete 70% of the laps that the lead car does. Now, that being said, some teams are playing into that. Certainly the number 4 Corvette, the GT1 of Oliver Gavin, Olivia Beretta, they will clinch the championship if they can make that 70%. In P2, both of Roger Penske's Porsche RS Spyders can win, but which driver will it be if they make 70%? In GT2, it's between Jörg Bergmeister and Johannes van Overbeek. Now, if Johannes' car breaks early, Jörg will be the champion at the 70% mark. Also, play the cautions. Because of this racetrack today, we think we'll see a lot of cautions. We'll get to that later. But in the meantime, because of the cautions in the split classes, you have to keep track of the overall leader in relation to where your car is. Because as that caution comes out, you can gain or lose a lap. And that's going to be paramount today because we do think there'll be many cautions.
Hi, I'm Johnny Molam from London, England.
I'm Stefan Johansson from Växjö, Sweden.
I'm Sascha Maassen from Germany.
I'm Timo Bernhard from Germany.
Hello, I'm Stéphane Sarrazin, I come from France.
I'm Pedro Lamy from Portugal.
Hi, I'm Mika Salo from Finland.
Hello, I'm Stéphane Ortelli from Monaco.
Boy, a slow pace coming up to the line by Stefan Johansson in the Zytek. Everybody packing up, but we have a green flag. The season finale is underway. Weaver looking to the inside from row 3, not much room. Here comes one of the Audis. Very aggressive move of the two Audis. I think they got together, Dorsey.
They did bump. They bumped one of the Porsches out of the way first, and then each one hit the other. But those are just light little love taps.
I believe that was Pirro getting into the side of his teammate right there. And Weaver, as always, looking to do something magical in the opening laps. Couldn't do it. One of the Porsches taking a look, and everybody deciding, no, let's just slot through her. This is a tough section to be running two abreast in early.
And you can see in the back part of that frame, all of the dust starting to kick up, and nobody's been off the track yet.
Yeah, that's the amazing part of it, is just the air. And boy, the 007, what a launch. An incredible run by Turner. He's already gone into second in GT1 path, both of those Corvettes.
Well, you know, I was listening to qualifying when he ran his first lap, which put him in fourth, and he was on his second. They told him just to park it. So I think they're playing that game.
And then reserve.
Yeah, I think so. Up the 21 BMW has had a problem. Oh, there are 3 abreast up on top here. And that's Van Overbeek coming underneath, touches the Panos and gets into the side. No, I'm sorry, it's the 44 Flying Lizard.
Yeah, it's Darren Law trying to get underneath the 51 Panos.
He got into
Milner, and then he got right into Bill. Big off, it looks like, off in the gravel anyway. Substantially wide over there.
One of the Porsches. No, it's not. It's a Ferrari. It's a 61.
That is Bertolini, who's off in the Ferrari.
Well, it looks like he just lost it on his own. He's down there coming off a 9, getting ready to set up for 10, and broke free on it.
Emanuele Pirro brings the Audi into pit lane. He'd been reporting on the radio to the crew that something is loose down in the footbox. So the nose is off of this Audi R10 right now. And there I see something tossed out of the cockpit. It's some electrical component. A little black box is now on the floor here. So they're replacing that, changing the nose at the same time.
And we are back to green.
But he's going to lose a lap, Greg. He's never going to get out in front of this pack.
These guys are too. Sorry, no, he's not. No way he can do it because of the speed limit in the pits, and he goes down a lap right now.
Look like Mike Lewis is blown up in a big way, and he's staying on the racetrack, oiling the whole thing down.
Right on the line.
I'm not sure what's going on, but it's pouring out a ton of smoke. It looks to be from the right rear wheel.
Well, that's not, I mean, you don't want to be on a racetrack dumping all kind of oil. That's definitely oil smoke. It's not a tire or anything like that.
And that was a very quick section of track. Turn 6, they approach an exit of 6. We are back under a full course caution once again, folks. And there you see it is a red car, and it is, in fact, the number 61 Ferrari of Bertolini off in the gravel trap approaching the one he was off in previously.
That's the Zytek that's closest to him at this point. Let's see if there's contact made. I'd say so. Yep, there he goes. Andrea Bertolini trying out the right side of the track, gravel trap.
Well, problems continue for the number 1 Audi. Emanuele Pirro came in for a top up with fuel. When they did that, there was some kind of infraction there. He was held to look for about 15-20 seconds there. Also at the same time, Sascha Maassen does another stop in the number 6 Penske Porsche Spider. He and Romain Dumas, the 7 car, had already pitted for fuel. I was not at their pit box, but it looked like the 6 car changed the nose on that machine.
We go back to green flag, which means we're going to see that Zytek in the pits fairly shortly for a stop and 15-second hold as the green flag flies. 20 laps in, starting the 21st, just over 35 minutes into this 4-hour Monterey Sports Car Championships, and Johansson leads him, but boy, Manassian on these restarts is right there for a lap or so. I would think he's going to leave this stop in a fair amount of anger.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy. 15 seconds behind the wheel of a stopped race car feels like an eternity as the field thunders away from you.
There is Manassian, your leader. Right behind him comes Capello. And then here's the margin. In only 3 laps now, there is James Weaver. So they literally are just...
got a headlight out.
Oh, he sure does.
Left front headlight's dangling around. It's still lit, but it's dangling around in there, falling out of its mount.
Of course, they had that huge crash for Guy Smith, that big shunt at the Petite Le Mans just a few weeks ago.
That's why there's only one of them here, because that car was so badly damaged, in fact, that even when they sent it back to England, it couldn't get prepared in time.
Here comes GT2. There's the number 62, Mika Salo, in the Ferrari from Orisi Competizione. And the guy that's chasing him, hounding him as much as he can right there in the Belrico Hirewise, number 23 Alex Job Racing Porsche, is Mike Rockenfeller, who has been very quick. As a matter of fact, Rocky, in the 4 sessions they had here, including qualifying, was fastest in 2 of them. He's moving up to the P2 category. Good battle unfolding right here. The number 19 of Ben Devlin is the leader in the P2 category because pit stops and changed things up. He evolved into the lead. And that is Romain Dumas, the number 7 DHL Golden Mill entry. This is for position, and Devlin is a good driver. Now, the Radical not quite as sorted, perhaps, these days, but he's hanging on. Now, I think it's obvious that certainly the Porsches might be on an open lap just a bit quicker right now. That doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. This time, Dumas got a great run, but look at Devlin. Keeps that inside line, protects Maassen.
Yeah, Sasha's going to take underneath. Sasha will take second place away, too, if this pass doesn't happen. Oh, now we got traffic to contend with. This is all the GT2 guys racing for position. There's Devlin right in front of us. Kicks up a little dirt. That's good.
He ran wide. And Dumas, that was it. What a move by Dumas, though. Dirt's going to thread the needle.
But has Maassen come with him? No, he did not.
Nicholas Manassian stops on the marks. He climbs out. He'll pull the seat insert out. He's a much smaller individual than Harold Primat, who is getting in the car right now. He's also a much quicker driver. Primat just a couple of seconds slower than Manassian, so don't expect him to have the pace. Meanwhile, a few stops down, Johansson having his service, trying to hold on to his lead lap. The leader is in pit lane. Dindo Capello, having completed his first stint, now turns it over to Alan McNish. These drivers won as a tandem here back in 2000, the year that McNish clinched the championship. He's now going for 2 championships here today. Dindo will win his first. This is huge. Johannes Van Overbrecht brought the number 45 car in. There's been damage to the front end. One of these radiators, which certainly have been a bit suspect on these Porsches this year, has been damaged, has had to be replaced. This is costing the team a huge amount of track time under green flag conditions. They're going to need a big break here today if they're going to maintain that championship lead for Van Overbeek. The advantage now goes to the 31 car.
Well, Calvin, what in fact did happen was that there was a cone knocked out onto the racetrack. When Van der Stoor came up into turn 1, which is blind from a prototype standpoint, he saw the cone. Of course, he would have eaten that right in his face. He couldn't hit it. He had to turn across the bow of the 45. 45 never saw the cone, and they made contact. For Johannes, it's a bad way to lose a championship, and unless the 31 should break, that's over with.
Oh, Manassian, yes, it is limping.
He's been off the road.
Actually, excuse me.
It's Primat, and he's been off the road on the exit of turn 9. This is on board. Oh, just like I said, he got wide on the outside and just skated off the racetrack and brought it back under control. Oh, no, he did spin. He did complete spin and across the top of the curbing. But again, we talk about this curbing here is made for motorcycles. And it's not tall enough to make any effect whatsoever. But look at the junk on the racetrack that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Calvin Harold Primat has just spun a second time. The 88 has just come off a second spin in about as many laps.
It's not on the level of a Manassian, and he's paying the price.
There you see him outside. It's coming down out of the corkscrew, setting up for 9, and he had the outside tires in the dirt and spins the car.
And of course, with the stops, we now have Alan McNish, and the number 2 Audi is in the lead. And it was while the pit stops were unfolding, I think McNish got around Maassen here. Oh boy, did he! Got a great run, Dorsey.
I think it's defensive, or Maassen trying to be defensive and pinch him down.
The 007 Aston Martin is in. Cal.
It is. Darren Turner had a sensational run there in the early going, taking the car to the front. Thomas Enger seeing his first action of the day. He still has an outside chance at that driver championship, but for that to happen, the full car has to hit problems and has to hit them pretty soon before that 70% mark. So right now, just waiting for the 90 litres of fuel to go in. Pirelli tires, there's a slight fire here on the right front. Don't think it's a big problem, just maybe some score or something inside the wheel.
Back in Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, a huge development. Your overall race leader, Alan McNish, is in due to contact. Calvin.
There's damage to this right front, and they're going to have to change the complete nose here. This shouldn't be a big problem.
Up the hill to the corkscrew. Of course, Alan McNish goes to the inside, but oh no, actually, you know, he blamed that on Premat, and I don't think it's Premat's fault at all. Premat was trying to respond to the two cars in front of him, trying to get to the inside. But look, now the spin. McNish spins and takes the 6 Porsche to the gravel trap.
We understand Alan is going to be penalized for the contact there. How do you see it, and what does Alan say?
Alan definitely feels he's being unfairly penalized because of the contact. He explained to us what happened. It clearly wasn't his fault. The car he had contact with is spun 4 times in the last 11 laps.
Ooh, did he just give somebody a gesture?
Well, he was at least shaking his fist. He is not happy. There's no question of that. And I don't know whether a penalty was necessary. I think it was just a racing incident. He went for the pass, and Prima popped for the pass. Well, things changing up in a big hurry as we're just about at halfway here in the Monterey Sports Car Championships. It is now Stefan Johansson in the Zytec, second car on your screen that has assumed the lead. But here's how Stefan Johansson ended up getting the lead back as we went to break. It was James Weaver on point, but didn't last long. Weaver trying to get around Dorsey the Mazda.
Weaver, the overall leader, gets pushed into the dirty stuff out on the outside of the exit of the corkscrew. You see him with a good save.
Now here's the rest of what unfolded here. Boy, Weaver got crossed.
Yeah, Weaver with a great save. Of course, they couldn't do anything about the fact that he's losing the lead right then. Uh-oh, in the meantime,
this is something fairly. It's an Aston Martin.
It's one of the 2 Aston Martins that has made big contact with the prototype.
Looks like it might be the Lista, the Horag entry in P2.
This will be a full course caution. I can guarantee that is the Lista. Leonhardt spins on his own, no help from anyone. And that is James Weaver doing a great job of avoiding the accident. But look, oh, the Panos was the one involved with the front end. And 009 goes around the outside without damage. A good read of that crash.
And here comes the 15, Stefan Johansson coming in, but the pits were closed, or are closed. Now, if he got in,
this could be a rookie's team mistake being made right here. Pits are closed, and they make a pit stop, which will draw a substantial penalty.
Alan McNish was down pit lane. They threw some fresh Michelins at him and topped him up with diesel fuel. So I asked why, and as Brett Cutler said, well, we didn't anticipate bringing him in, but this caution period has gone on for such a while now. When he pitted, there's about an hour and 29 minutes left in this race. We talk about the diesel fuel economy, certainly very good. He said we need just a little bit of help with the yellow. We could be able to go the rest of the way with no more stops. So that's a big strategy call. They waited for McNish to get the wave around, brought him in, topped him up with fuel. Then that second pit stop has kept him on the lead lap. He may not be seeing pit lane again today. That's big news.
And we're looking for the restart. Here we go. And we are green. And a big move there. Johnny Mollem trying to dunk underneath Bernard. And he doesn't. But the question was, that was the pass for the overall lead. The question is a penalty? Mollem car, we're still waiting to hear.
Oh, it's spin. Somebody's off here in turn 6. Back into the wall, it looked like, Greg. It's the BMW. He did not hit the wall. It's the 22. You see the goodbye on the windshield. And he might be, that's Justin Marks. He's been off 3 times big this weekend already.
Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for Justin. This is
15.
The 15 is in, and it's a hold.
Oh, boy. How about this?
Well, I wonder if that's why Mollem didn't just rock it away like that to try and get anything he could in hand.
Of course, it's the 31 potential championship man, York Bergmeister car. Take a look down here in turn 2. That's where we circled at the map at the beginning as a congestion area. It always seems to, yeah, that's congestion. I think he got a little help.
Next car through the frame was a red Ferrari.
Yep, that's help. 62 Ferrari definitely made contact with Patrick.
Well, Ortelli, that gives him the lead. Now, assuming that we're getting some, the consistent calls are going to be made here, you would think Ortelli in that red Ferrari would be visiting the penalty box. And we get a report we have another full course caution because the 22 of Marks, again, he's through the gravel and on a lane where he could try and drive out, but I think he's surrounded by a sea of gravel and he's in a little island there. All right, in the field coming around, looking for the green. You heard the radio call, green, green, green. And look at Dyson with McNish. Boy, they are in a shoving match, Dorsey, as they come by start finish. Dyson trying to hang on around the outside, McNish inside. They did a little grinding, and coming up behind him is Nicholas Manassian, now back behind the wheel of the Creation. And this caution might be magic for that car. It's still on the lead lap. We know it's speed. And right there, Manassian trying to get underneath Dyson. Chris just shut the door. And here is the 62. So this car in. Salo is behind the wheel now. They did a driver change, so he too is paying the penalty right now. Look at this cut and thrust action as the 15 of Molam is coming up to the pack trying to get a lap back.
And a pass for the lead.
Nicely done by McNish, wasting no time, drove by Lucas Lure, and back in the overall lead once again. If they end up in that position, they're going to have an amazing, perfect season. Watch the move here, Darcy.
Remember, McNish on soft compound tires. He's on qualifying type rubber right now. And just rockets by.
And Manassian now trying to do everything he can to get into third and get around Dyson. And Chris Dyson doing a fabulous job right now of hanging on. Boy, but look at that drive right there by Manassian. Dyson went to defend, and Manassian actually backed off and got a much better run out of 11. And as Dyson went to the inside, Manassian popped outside and drove right by him.
We're riding on board with Pirro, and his car is quicker. He has not been able to get around Chris Dyson yet in the 16. However, it won't be long, I can tell you that. Here he runs to the inside. He will take the position going into the corkscrew. Oh, but Dyson muscles him and gets pushed off the racetrack. Now, for Chris, he should have just let that be.
Uh-oh. Oh, the 007.
Left front tire is gone.
Had the Aston Martins finish 1-2 and then either of the Corvettes finish third, it would have been a tie in the team and manufacturer championships. There are no bonus points, so they would have been co-champions. But the Astons had to finish 1-2 to take second points away from the Corvettes, and this is going to just absolutely spoil that hope. O'Connell now, the number 3 Corvette, moves to second, and Olivier Beretta goes to third. Beretta and Gavin had pretty much already clinched the championship, but Brian, what a huge thing for team and manufacturer.
And Doug Meehan's up here just turned around and walked away. Doug, I know the driving championship would be good for the two Ollies, but it's really the manufacturer's championship that you want. The complexion of this race just changed. What's it mean to you guys and your strategy?
Well, quite frankly, we backfilled our strategy all day long to get it to this point, so we know we can run right down to the end. And our objective is to finish 1-2, and that ensures the manufacturer's championship. Obviously, manufacturers is key, but we're not going to settle for second place.
Here is Alan McNish, and you'll notice that not in his rearview mirrors and not even in the shot right now is the number 7 Porsche Lucas Lure.
Comes down here to the slowest corner on the track. Coming up the front straightaway, too much speed, and just does an unforced error spin. Now he's lucky right here he doesn't roll himself into the trap and get stuck, but he's still rolling, as you see.
Oh, look at this as O'Connell around the outside of Saracen down the front straight. Now Saracen going to try to come right back down the inside. He's
still there. You got it.
And O'Connell.
He's in there. He's in there.
Oh, and he got out in the junk. Dorsey got a little crossed up.
Got pushed out to that gravel on the outside. The dirt on this racetrack's immense this late in the race. Good hard brake. He takes that apex away. Look at the carbon fiber rotors glowing on the right front. Gets the good launch, but that Aston's got legs. It out top ends him.
Chris Dyson brings the number 16 in for its final stop of the day and final stop of 2006. Fuel only, obviously, it'll be a timed stop. What a great job this team has done after struggling with this car early in the year. They've been running strong lately, guys.
Meanwhile, GT2, Jörg Bergmeister continues to lead, and of course, looking awful good for a championship right now. But in terms of the race win, this is by no means a done deal for Jörg, because 3 seconds behind him is Mika Salo in the Ferrari. As we come up now on just a little over 15 minutes remaining here. There is Bergmeister. There's the 37. There is Salo. Now this might help Jörg as Chris gets down and underneath. That's going to slow up Salo and hurt him a little bit. Manassian, now this is going to put paid to his shot at running down McNish, unless McNish has to stop as well. Right?
He's not going to run him down. What a great job this team has done. Nicholas Manassian in this car. Interestingly enough, they're going to take tires. It looks out like they're setting him out. And the other thing that's interesting about the tires on this car, They don't like softs. They don't like mediums. They like the hard compound. It is 68 degrees outside. That seems to be a little much, Dorsey, but they say that's what the car performs on.
Boy, take a look at the last few laps in terms of the margins here as it's come down, and now there's nothing. And clearly Salo is quicker, but as the old adage goes, catching and passing is a different thing, and Jorg is driving brilliantly right now. And the problem for Jorg, he also has that Porsche up front. Here comes Salo, trying to straight line down the inside. He's there, but if he overshoots the corner, Burmeister cuts down underneath. Not going to happen.
Come up the inside, but there will be no way he's got the speed to throw to pass the car.
They're trying to figure out a way. Boy, he's staying right with him, though, Dorsey.
They could punt him. That'd be one way.
Well, that's the one, but
And of course, the Ferrari's been using that all during the day.
that's true. I'm not sure that's how Jorg works. And right now, Alan McNish continues to lead, but fuel is a huge question. And Calvin, I'm guessing you're standing by with the guys a little nervous.
Well, he certainly is. Dindo, what a tremendous season, but I know you want to win this last one here tonight. How tight is Alan on fuel right now?
Very tight. I know he's very, very tight. We hope we can do it, but it's not easy. It looks not easy at the moment, but we believe in our TDI engine.
Meanwhile, bit of a change here. It happened while we were in our break, and look at Beretta.
Beretta down the inside takes, well, that looked awfully planned. The three didn't do anything. Maybe
That
not.
doesn't look- I was going to say, that didn't look too bad.
Maybe not.
Boy, tense stuff right here, but for McNish and Capello, if they can do it, extending their record of wins in a season, class wins in a season for a pairing, and bringing with the win Audi, the R10 TDI, that perfect record. Here we go, last time out of 11. He's got enough. He's pumping. He's look at that. He's waving to the crew. He said, "You did it. You gave it to me. We made it happen." And there it is. He has done it. McNish and Capello, 8th win of the season for that pairing. And we're on board here. This is Lucas Laurel once again. If he can hang on 4th overall currently, the lead in P2, and if he wins it, and we get the 6 car coming home behind them, he and Maassen, Loren Maassen, will share the championship. The Aston Martin of Saracen is coming up into turn 11, and that will give them, they win, but, oh, Dyson off right in front of them.
Well done, that secures you second in the championship. Fantastic job.
Well, it was a record-breaking season for Dindo Capello, for Alan McNish. But Alan, what a close one here tonight. Talk us through the race.
Well, it was right from the start to finish. It was just action-packed. We had a tangle up at the top. When the creation moved, the side to overtake and had already committed. It's one of these things, and you accept the penalty. And then after that, there was a bit of jockeying for position. But really, at the end, it was about fuel economy and just trying to make it. We were like that. Oh.
Lucas, awesome drive. It didn't come without some excitement, but probably more importantly, you get to share the championship with your good friend Sasha Maassen.
Yeah, that was the main goal before we came here, that we somehow can manage to do that. But on the other hand, we really wanted to push for overall, so I pushed McNish like crazy, but at the end I had not really a chance. But thanks to the team, thanks to Romain, did a fantastic job in the beginning, and thanks to Sasha, to my co-champion.
Talk us through that lap when Johnny O'Connell and you were side by side going into one.
I went inside, and at the end of the straight line, it was door by door, and I didn't release the throttle. I stayed flat out, and I hope it will be okay. And after, it was much better. So I'm really happy. The team did a very good job. The mechanics was perfect.
Mika Salo, impressive as usual in his Ferrari, but when you look back on the season, if you could have made all the races in the power of this Ferrari, do you think about that championship that could have been?
Next year. They had so many drivers in the team this year, and some of them had a big accidents, and it's been an expensive year for Mr. Risi, but it's a 3rd win for me this year, and team champions, so I think it's good. So hopefully next year we keep 1 driver or 2 drivers whole season, and we can go for both championships.